to read something that is in one of my books that I wrote. It's Realization and the Resulting Consciousness That Remains, and it's out of Song of the Butterfly, Finding the Freedom Within. If you're interested, this can be gotten on Amazon as well as any of my other books. But it carries, there are so many different topics in this, but this is realization and resulting consciousness that remains. When something is stated from here, it's not from what has been read and studied, but from the direct cognition of a hard-won path wisdom. It is not said in order to put somebody down, nor to tread on their belief structures, but to rather aid another in breaking through the structures that keep the suffering persona in play. It is an act of compassion and doesn't come out of arrogance as some may assume at first glance. There's nothing to be arrogant about, because realization is nothing other than living within the center of our own natural self. It is the pre-birthright of all life. The great news, and paradoxically the difficulty, is that we are always liberated. As total potential and the quantum reality of mind creates and sustains the seeds and gardens of our bondage. In seeking more control, what takes place are more velvet bars, holding the mindset of a limitational birth and death self, all seeking done in order to secure its safety, is again another hindrance and jail. It is only when we stop searching the externalized powers, gods, heavens, etc., that the confronting of the conditioned self may take place, and the knots of the illusion may be cut once and for all. There are two ways in. One is total expansion of heart, until self consumes the world and its own identity, and simply love remains. Or two, that path of negating what is not the eternal unchanging is, taking apart what self is not, until only that divine and unchanging source is imploded into. Then one enters into the pregnant void that is empty in nature and yet contains the whole of the universe and its fragrance. In either case, the me image as a singular, need to be protected fallacy is over. Before realization, there was a life which had the flavor of seeking and mostly just existing, attempting to snatch moments of pleasure, seeing what needs to be fixed, etc., mistaking personal powers and psychic realm experiences as somehow more advanced. But no matter how many cities appear, they do not translate out to a sense of peace and settled being. They can be rather just another support to the me, even when couched in terms of being used to aid the world, or the false humility of I am only a tool in the hands of God. That mindset. The point is the keeping of the I as a separation. Then realization happens. The world and all its beliefs about God, me, the nature of existence, the seeking, the clinging, the desires, the aversions are in one moment beyond time shattered. What a blow! The ideas surrounding and creating a limitational me story that comes and goes is over. Implosion. There is only absolute, without name, without form, impersonal, intellect without knowledge. Relational knowledge raises not its head, for that's the realm of duality. There is only overwhelming is. Beyond any dispute, whole, forever one without a second. If the world ends in a heartbeat and all of creation falls away, still this is, and always shall be. Total simplicity, unchanging. This is, which, as the sustainer, makes possible the ability of thought, love, the fragrance of pure experience through motion, which appears to subdivide the indivisible into existence. Self is a misnomer, for there is no personal self as such, as it is all-encompassing, absolute without question, pure, unchanging, life, the life of all life and the death of all death. And this is, which is beyond a separation of mind as thought and creation, is what is the divine essence of not two. It is also not one. As one is substance and divisible. As it may be seen, this is not able to be translated into as divisionary speech and cognized in its fullness by mind, limited to conceptualized ideas and frameworks ingrained as points of self-experience. It blows the mind to bits. Sometimes all words fail and fall away. The world at once is totally changed, and at the same time nothing has changed. There is a body that speaks, and yet no point of a seeking self remains. This cannot be explained logically. Attempting to think in seeking a word or conceptualized image is most difficult. This type of interaction falls away. What comes only spontaneously in the moment and then again falls away. Sometimes it simply doesn't arise, and there is only the stillness of pure awareness that is in that moment. After realization, it takes time to come back into some semblance of what other world would term normal life, as one can no longer relate to seeking, as now nothing remains to look for, to questioning, as there are no longer any abilities to hold out and there's nothing to look for. To desire, there's no longer a me in place that feels a lack or need. Relationship, one is whole as is. Life becomes simply pure experience without complication, without fear. For there is only liberation, and indeed has always been. Unfortunately, for the dual mind, even suffering is a part of liberation, a pre-birth right. Some will look and say, then who is speaking? That's the question. If there is no me, how can speech take place? The I that is simply the singular life force of not two. The me that remains is likened to a wisp of fragrance without solid moorings. Aware of mind, yet not contained by mind. It's just another one or another. It is at once the whole of creation and yet forever separate and distinct. It is something most wonderful, and yet it's totally natural. There is simply a flow and a dance that remains, not tirage. Whether creation or destruction, the dance remains. Thank you for allowing a space for this flow to take place. Have we gone anywhere? Where is there to go? Be well and happy, for there is nothing to fear as life begets life. Love and light from the zero. Thanks and much love and light. May everyone have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you online.